Hi family, thank you for tuning in. My name is Kabelo Segev Khang and this is the Ink and Thing podcast. And my guest today is my favorite author, Lebo Mazibuko, author of Bantu Knots and Fabrics of Love. And please note that this episode was sponsored by Mxolisi Masilela and I was dressed by Podiso Paula. Thank you. Lebo, welcome to the Ink and Thing podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, finally, we made it happen.
Finally.
I'm just thinking. I was actually thinking. Congratulate Kang. I think first of all, congratulations on your second baby,
Yes.
Fabrics of
Yes.
Love.
Yes.
King. Yeah.
Fabrics of Love.
Fabrics of Love. King Gaston. Fabric.
Or like I don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Congratulations on your masters as well.
Yes.
You're doing amazing things, man.
Thank
You're doing
you.
amazing things. Yeah. It's okay. I've been paying attention to the fact that you've been touring with your book.
Yeah.
The first question that I want to ask you is how are you? I have to do that first. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm okay.
Mhm.
I'm okay. I'm happy for the most part. When I'm not stressing, I'm happy. And I'm trying to not dwell on the little things,
Mhm.
and just look at the bigger picture.
I love
But
that.
yeah,
Mhm.
I'm happy.
Yeah. And how's being the touring of Fabrics of Love? Because
There's a positive reception so far. Like, there's not a lot of people who've read it because the book is a month old or a month and a half.
yeah.
But so far, the people that have read it like it, which is a relief
Mhm.
because there's a lot of pressure after Bantu Knots.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of expectations. So, yeah, I'm relieved that people like it, and I think you might like it better than
But you know,
I think.
I don't know about that. This is my favorite book.
Yeah.
Are you a hip hop fan?
I listen to everything.
Mm-hmm. Are you a Nas fan?
I can't say I'm a fan.
Yeah.
I know Nas songs that I like.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm just thinking
Why?
it. No, I'm just thinking at the back of my head, Jorge, when Nas came with the album Illmatic.
Yeah.
Like
One mic.
No, One Mic I think came later. So there's a first album of his.
Yeah.
I think he was around 17. So the writing there is like amazing to a point where they are studying it, go some universities and stuff, Now, the thing was that the success of the first album, it drowned his next albums, because like everybody was like still looking for Illmatic.
It's like Lauryn Hill's Miseducation.
Exactly.
And Jill Scott's
So
first, yeah.
you can't come with anything after that, even if it's greater than the first album.
Yeah.
But it's like people got to connect with you. Bantu Knot, that's how they got to know you.
Yeah, I think, you know what, Fabrics of Love is not that different from Bantu Knots.
Yeah.
It's a Soweto story. It's a story about the community because you can't tell a Soweto story without telling a story about the people. And how we come together as a community. Everybody raises you. Everybody's your brother. Everybody's your sister. We're very interconnected, and it's got those same elements.
Yeah.
Fabrics is, like I said, it's got a lot more characters. Bantu Knots is very focused on the women. Fabrics of Love is told through the lens of the women, but it's still about the men as well.
Yeah.
They play a bigger role. So yeah, I think you'll like.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's still very me.
I think so too, because I'd imagine, Jorge, it has actually given you the opportunity to grow as a writer as well.
Yeah.
I was actually about to ask you, but I think you've answered it. Jorge, what are some of the unifying themes between the two books?
I guess what I said about community. I think this is also like a love letter to Soweto. The music, it's set in the beginning of the millennium. 2000, the year 2000, And that's when Kwaito was as big as it is, and then we know Kwaito was birthed in Soweto. So the music is very important, and in Bantu Knots, I do, music is a thing. But mother-daughter themes are still there, very important. But also, I explore father-daughter dynamics and try to answer why men are not there
Yeah.
in our homes. Even showing that some are really, really trying,
Yeah.
but circumstances sometimes pulls men away, or circumstances don't always favor them. Some choose to leave, some really are trying to be there.
Yeah.
So those are some of the themes. But I mean, the thing of finding your voice as a young girl, you still get it in Fabrics of Love, except that we find these characters at a much later age, I think 17, 18, and we follow them into their 30s.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's about love as well, relationships, dating, how complex it gets,
Yeah.
and understanding yourself as a woman, what you want, your dreams, pursuing your passions. Yeah, those are the similarities.
I love that.
Yeah.
When I'm reading Bantu Knots, because I'm yet to read The Fabrics of Love, I
Yeah.
just keep on wondering, Hore, I wonder what kind of imagination one has to have to actually to be able to write about these worlds and to be able to see the world from other people's perspective, because I feel like you have this unique ability as an author to like, um, you know,
Yeah.
Jack you went as far because you did touch on it on Bantu Knots, the relationship between fathers and their children, how
Yeah.
they try to have access to their children, and
Yeah.
all of that. Some of them are not even trying, you know. So the way Buanka thing about the fabrics of love, you even went to touch on that. So I'm just wondering, Jorge, where does that come from?
My own life. I don't think a lot of it is imagination. The creative aspect of putting all these things onto paper, that's where the imagination comes in. But as artists, we're sponges, right? We're always taught to observe. Um, if you're an actor and you're playing a character, they say observe. You sit there. I remember when I was doing drama, we'd have to sit outside and just on campus and just look at people, like watch them. How do they walk? Find interesting mannerisms that people have. Listen to conversations. When grown-ups are talking, you listen to these things. And I look at my life now and I think a lot of these things are just captured in my memory,
Yeah.
and I'm just pulling from it. What I couldn't say as a child, I can now say through books. Those conversations that I wasn't allowed to be a part of, I can bring an audience into those things. There's also, I think, a scene in Bantu Knots where Naledi asks, what is wrong with Smang Mang? Because she can see this person is sick. But it's like, hey, wait, stay out of grown people's business, So it's not really imagination. It's observing a lot. I'm a quiet person. I like to sit alone. I like to absorb a lot of things. And also for me, writing is a process of purging a lot of those things. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. If
Okay.
I'm making sense.
Yeah, Leo, it sounds like, but I think you have to also give credit to your imagination as well, because of course, like one can tell when reading these books that there is a ton of experience in this because I don't think one was able to write with such depth if they haven't lived Bophelo ba
Yeah.
Bontsinyana,
Yeah.
Before I get back to Bantinot, I want to go back to you as a writer,
Yeah.
just to briefly get to know about you, Jorge, the writing bug. What happened? What was happening?
Jeez. I didn't know I was going to be a novelist, firstly. I'm a theater baby, but I've always written. I've always been a girl who has a journal. I used to keep, because obviously your parents are not going to buy you diaries.
Of course.
I used to keep an exercise book,
Mm.
cover it, put a nice poster of somebody famous on it, and then just document my thoughts. But what I would do, instead of saying, "Dear diary, this boy hurt me," I'd find a creative way to hide it, because maybe I was paranoid that my mother will find it and see my secrets, and I would get into trouble for certain things.
Yeah.
So I used a bit of creative flair to mask some of the stuff that I was talking about, and then obviously studying drama, I tried script writing and stuff. Didn't really like it.
Yeah.
Didn't really like it. I made it into the script writing class because I think a lot you had to sort of audition, like
Yeah.
put a script forward so that they see, can you write?
Yeah.
And then Professor Monroe, I think he chose a handful of the students to do script writing.
Yeah.
So it would sit around the table, and I just didn't like it though. The pressure of it, having to produce a play or one act or whatever. But I also felt a bit limited by it. I mean, I've got 250 pages. A play you can't really go, and it's all dialogue. With writing a novel, I can really go in. I can play director as well. If I want a person to walk there, get up, grab a cup, and they have a deep sigh, I can do the acting part of it, with how a person looks when they're angry, how they react. So all of those elements kind of came into play. But yeah, the writing, I've always written. I just didn't know. It took me a little while to find the form. I only figured it out maybe at 30, at 29.
Yeah.
Yeah, 28, 29, that, okay, maybe this is the form. But it's been a long process from high school to my late 20s, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And here we are with the second book.
Yeah.
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 Why didn't? Okay, now it makes sense why a lady was hiding
Yes.
his diaries. You know, my little sister. I think like my little sister uses his diaries to like taunt us. You know, because she would
Yeah.
write things, ne?
Yeah.
And then she would leave it on the top of the table. You
What a
know?
little one.
Hey, yeah. And then like I would just like pass by. Maybe I'm looking for something on the table, go high, and then I would see, ooh, you know. So maybe and just be a little bit curious, but then I'm trying to like have those boundaries. I'm like, I'd rather have my little sister come and tell me these things rather than me reading from this, you know. But I can tell from her frustration, you know, her anger. I'm like, if I read these things, I'm not gonna talk to my little sister. I'm not gonna talk to my little sister again. So let me just protect myself, you know. Yeah. And also I'm aware that Bantu Knot actually started as a poem.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Before we talk about that, I think about Bantu Knot a lot. You know, it's one of those books that I always reference in my personal life, you know. And so this other time, I think it was a week or 2 weeks ago, went to this event. We went there to actually sell food. The event was Koprakpani. It was called Soul Train. So obviously the music was going to be soul, you know. So we get there, we prepared to sell food, but we're not sure who's going to be the audience, you know. So I'm with a couple of friends of mine. And then later, I realized a pattern where the audience is mothers and their daughters. It's women of age and women of different ages, you know. And then this friend of mine, Limpopo, started to get a little bit worried. He was like, why are these women doing this? You know, our mothers don't do such, you know. And I said to him, that is the problem. That is the problem because of right now I see a group of women healing. And the perspective that I'm getting here is that they're going to take this joy that they're experiencing here on this event, and it's going to, be transferable to their kids when they get home. And I started to think about, the generational traumas, because when I read Bantu Knots, the theme that comes to my mind is generational traumas, because I can actually see a pattern. I can actually see how Mam Nora had Naledi's mother, and now Naledi's mother is actually hating Naledi, and then you look back into your life and then you realize, oh man, we were raised by parents who were broken, who were hurt, And then I said to a friend, to a friend of mine, what do you want? And he was like, "Bommarona, banna kudi jarate." I was like, exactly that. And then what do? Ba or maya, they fight because why? They were not given that privilege to actually experience this kind of life. And I always get the feeling, if they were given that opportunity to experience what we are seeing right now, because this moment we're having fun, Lebo. This moment it was a little bit uncomfortable, but I understood why it was uncomfortable to us, because of we always see our mothers ballet, Yeah, and then I had like a little bit of epiphany as I had when I was reading this book. I was like, I'm not going to be able to love my mother properly as long as I put her on a pedestal. She's a human first, She's a human first. I actually even had a conversation with her prior to reading Bantu Knots. I was like, Mom, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and my mom said, Hore, for the first time, it was great hearing her saying to me, Hore, we didn't know. And then she gave me a perspective of how she grew up. I knew these things, but hearing her confess, Hore, these are the things that actually attributed to the kind of person that I am today. And I'm sorry, but I did what I did with the limited knowledge that I had, So I just wanted to share that to let you know how special Bantu Knot is to me, because I feel like it's a book that every house should heal. It's you write beautifully about this woman, but I think also you uphold a particular mirror to them, Hore. Itebele.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I write a lot about generational trauma. I think in both books, it's generational trauma. And realize what you mentioned, that we are being raised by people who haven't dealt with their scars, and how they tend to bleed onto to the next generation, onto the next generation. And I think what happens with Mam Nora, because it's 3 generations of women, Mama Nora, as the grandmother, parented her daughter in a certain way, saw where she went wrong, and is trying to rectify that with her grandchild. And that's why our grandparents, we have a very different relationship with our grandparents now, because of who they are. They've evolved. But I think even with my own relationship with my mom, I didn't understand her. She didn't understand me. I'm the only girl at home. And look, she's much closer to to my brothers than she is to me.
Yeah.
But I'm also someone who's very independent. Like, I'm that girl orchestrating. Like, I'm always on not orchestrating in that sense, but I'm always
She has
on.
to clarify.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm always on the move. I'm always somewhere doing something. It's hard for me to just sit down and. But it's also the industry that I'm in requires me to be out. Whereas my brothers are people who were always in the house, a lot more reserved than I was. But yeah, and that struggle of her having to teach me how to be a woman, and me feeling like I know how to be a woman, and I don't want to be like you. I want to be this kind of woman. But it's only now in my 30s where I think we're sort of meeting each other halfway. I'm starting to see that, I'm recognizing that you never really stop being that little girl. You can be as grown as you are, but you're still carrying and trying to deal with the things that injured you as a child. Because I'm going through that. I'm going through healing my relationship with my mom. I'm going through healing or trying to define love and trying to see with my dad, did I learn something good, and what were the good things and what were the bad things and what was missing, and how did that affect me in my dating life, and where did I go wrong, and healing my own insecurities as a person. But I'm still dealing with this little girl as grown as I am.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine my mom, who, and our parents had us much younger. Now we're having children late. Our parents had kids at 21, at 22,
Even younger than
yeah,
that.
you know what I mean. My mom was married by the age of 20. So to be running a household at 20, I was in the streets, like now, like proper in the streets.
Yeah.
Oh, you're going clubbing, you're doing all these things. I can't imagine being a mother and having to be responsible and being a wife, but it's realizing that they weren't fully grown yet. Also, she didn't have time to discover who she was as a person before having to fulfill all these roles. She didn't have a chance. Like you were talking about joy, realizing that our parents didn't have joy. And it's a strange thing where you're like, why are these mothers smiling and laughing and having a good time? They should be in the house doing this, but that's what and
You know what I mean?
you know what I mean. And even dating, there's a lot of women who have been divorced, are widowed, and as soon as they start dating, it's a
We
how
cringe.
dare you try and find love again, whereas men can get married twice. I mean, we understand a man can live alone. You need a woman to take care of you, but we're not as empathetic to women.
Yeah.
Because we've put them in certain roles, and I think as children, as daughters as well, we put our moms in a specific role, not recognizing that even before they're a mom, she's a woman first, but that woman is dealing with her childhood issues,
Yeah.
and trying to recover from that, and while also balancing her relationship with her own mother,
Yeah.
and understanding what that looks like and at different stages in our lives. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. And I think with time, although this is going to sound selfish, but I think with time I realized, Hore, I have to be at the forefront. I have to do my best to support everything that is healing women, because I've come to a realization, Hore, the healing of the world has to start with the healing of our mothers, because ke bona ba ba re, antang, and I think, Hore,
Yeah.
what they produce is what we drink,
Right.
They-
Literally.
yeah.
Literally.
Even like we can go as far as like use that as a metaphor, like
Literally.
the pain it's a bona, you find yourself hating people, you find yourself
Yeah.
angry at people, at a later stage you have to realize, "Hore, this is not my anger, this is not my voice, this is my
Yeah.
mother's voice,
Yeah. And I mean, I'm just thinking now about when you're in your mother's womb, they say the baby feels everything that the mother is feeling or experiencing. So if she's angry, the baby Lena is not as comfortable
Yeah.
in the belly. But that's what you inherit, and
Yeah.
then you suck from her breast when you're saying you're drinking
Mm.
all of that, but you are literally drinking whatever is inside of her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had to, because when I'm reading Bantu Knots, I think what it also helped me to do was to be able to see, Hore, because like now you have to be empathetic towards 3 generation of women, At first you get introduced to Naledi, and then as you read, you start to hate Naledi's mother. Like, this woman with poverty, It-
So problematic.
Yeah, and then when you hear Mam Nora's voice through a lady, you begin to understand. Ngwana wa thula ka slow ke. And so now you are sympathetic towards the second generation, and then later towards the end, now you start to feel sorry for Menora. You realize all the injustices. You realize the role that patriarchy has played. Even further, you realize the role that apartheid has played, because
Yeah.
we were raised out of survivorship.
Yeah.
Mothers didn't get a chance to actually breathe and to be themselves. They were robbed of
Yeah.
their childhood. Like if you can investigate, because like our parents, like sometimes like you ask mom, how old were you when you had your firstborn? Like was 16 or was 15. You realize that was a different time. That
Yeah.
was super unfair to women, and out of that we expected, batho ba ba sa robegang, like,
Yeah.
but at the same time you get to sympathize with the children as well. You're
Yeah.
like, man, you scarred this child. You
Yeah.
scarred this child. So it was, it
Yeah.
was, it was, it was actually beautiful to get
And
that.
and and there's with Mam Nora, what you mentioned about apartheid, she couldn't be a mother to her own child.
Exactly.
And then Naledi starts to see that her relationship with the child she actually raised is very different. They have a bond. But our mothers, our grandmothers were taken away. They were raising their madams'
Yeah.
children,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
they didn't have time to really parent, to really bond.
Yeah.
Yeah, to form those relationships.
I don't know how familiar you are with hope I'm not gonna get this incredible woman's name wrong. Dr. Joy. She's from the States. I think her name is DeGray or something. Yeah, so what she's doing, she's doing an investigation on I think she calls it post-traumatic, but it's PTSD, but in connection to the slaves and that, so she's investigating how that is still continuing to affect community arona, just how you just mentioned the fact that Menora was able to go ao godisa ngwana mosadi o mongwe, and when they get there they are more gentle. So I recently saw a clip of hers. So she was trying to paint a picture. She was saying, picture this, you are at a high school or go college maybe or something, and then a black mother is going to say to a white woman, yo, your child is doing great, blah blah blah, and then the white mother is going to take pride, and then they're going to be like, he's also planning to be an astronaut. He's also planning to do 1, 2, 3. He also is incredible in 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And in the middle of the conversation, the white mother actually realizes the child that is actually more incredible is Ngwana Owa, this black woman. And then now what happens, the white woman starts to give the black mother the feedback. The start to praise ngwana gagwe gape gore actually it is, your child is incredible. Now she shows a dynamic the black mother is not going to receive those compliments, and she's going to go wasukudisa, or they're gonna talk about the flaws and that is hurting the child, because the child is privy to this conversation, and they are listening to their mother speaking ill of them, and then she takes that very thing. We used back to the time there were slaves, because slave owners would come and they would say, wow, your child is smart. And of course, if you agree to that, they're going to use your child for some sinister thing. So you have to
protect.
Yeah, you have to protect your child, So they were raised on that, And then she further continues to say, by the time the child realized the mother was doing that out of love, that very same love has actually destroyed the child. I love my mom, and I'm happy that she lived long for us to have certain conversations. I realized later in my life, I think if there's one thing that exposes how unhealed you are, it's relationships. Like in relationships, that's where you get exposed. You realize something is broken. Where is this coming from?
Because you're forced to be vulnerable now.
Exactly. Like you disarmor yourself and stuff. I realized what in most of my relationships, I was looking for my mother.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
and then with that personal experience, I started to check my life in Yak and the life of other men. How far do we go to actually look for our mother's love? I love church, love the Lord, but at some point I realized I actually went there because I was looking for something that I was missing at home. And the reason why it was missing at home, it was because of my mom was going through a period of depression. And depression is like you see a person being hurt, but you can't call the ambulance or my mom is hurting, my mom is on fire, because it's like the internal struggle. But you can see she's doing the best that she wants to do. She's gonna make sure but she's going to bleed on you. So you have to like keep that relationship. There's a joke that they used to make go high, and then later I realized when my little sister was born, I think she is 4 years younger than me. Apparently, I said to my mom, "Mom, ever since this child is being born, kinta, So it was like a joke that. But later, I realized, my mom stopped holding me. Don't get me wrong, she loved me. That
No,
woman,
I
like,
get it. I get
would,
it. I mean, there's not a lot of black parents who say, "I love you, I'm proud of you,"
You know what
and
I mean?
hug you and kiss you.
Yeah.
It's strange,
So it was that, So when I'm reading Bantu Knots, because this is a very personal book to me. Like when I told you that this book is special, I actually meant it, So I'm realizing, my mom was hurt, And then I start to investigate her relationship with her own mother, my amazing grandmother, Okobotswana. I love her so much, And then I start to investigate my grandmother's relationship with her mother. And then I started to see a pattern. Yeah, I started to see a pattern that, yeah. So,
and it's actually the first time that I've heard a guy say, "I was looking for my mom," because we know about daddy issues. We talk about daddy issues all the time, and girls openly acknowledge. When you see a girl with an older man, you're like, she got daddy issues. Like, it's easy to recognize it. Even as girls, when your father doesn't say "I love you," the first guy who's like, "Yo, ngiyakthanda, I'm to," you're like, "Oh my gosh, what is this?" Not realizing that you haven't been affirmed by the first man that's supposed to show you that affection without you having to give something or part of yourself up, or to give something in exchange. And that's why girls always have this thing like, you can't just show up fully as yourself. Somebody can't just love you just because you are you. I have to give up something. There's a catch somewhere, and that's how we end up in these toxic We've also normalized toxic relationships. Men cheat, men. But going back to, our fathers were migrant workers. Our fathers, this is why they weren't in the home. Then there was the top system, and this is why our fathers are alcoholics and all of this. And they would get drunk and come home, beat their wives, and, women, you have to endure. So now we don't have a concept of what healthy black love looks like. Whereas with white people, they don't tolerate a lot of the things that we think.
No.
But men are like this. No, I mean, where are you gonna find a man who doesn't cheat on you? Because it's unheard of. We don't know this. But going back to what you said, you realizing that when they were migrant workers, they would start a little family somewhere in the city, and forgetting that there's a family back home, and then they'll come back at the end of the month or every couple of months to see the family back home, yet they have the secret.
But then my question, I just wonder, like, the idea of accountability, like, how do we hold people accountable while we are aware of the system that has been oppressing them? Because what you have just described sounds like these men also are victims of
Mhm.
capitalism.
Mhm.
Because like you would imagine a man spending a year without seeing their
Mm.
wives and being told that you can't go home. The only time you get a break is only a day. And
Mhm.
that time you are in Rustenburg, your wife is in KZN,
Yeah.
and you are yearning for that love as well.
Yeah.
So what you do is that you create that family.
Yeah.
It's not justifiable. But
Yeah.
you are a victim of a particular
Yeah.
system. I was having a conversation with this other man. He was telling me, Jorge, at the time he was a truck driver.
Yeah.
He made sure that he had 3 families to
Mm.
to the towns that he frequented. So every family got just a
Yeah.
piece of him.
Yeah.
But he was showing up for those families. But he made sure that those families didn't
But
know.
there's something missing back home, like
Of
there's a
course,
wife who's missing something. There's a son, a
who's going
daughter
without?
who's
Mm,
missing a part of their father.
yeah,
Yeah.
there is that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there are these systems.
Yeah. I think you know what, for me, accountability. Um the reason why I even wrote Bantu Knots is because I was hoping it would open us up to these conversations, the conversations that we really need to have as Black people in our families. And I
Yeah.
know it's hard, even with some of the discussions that I've had, and my family was in the audience. I would see my grandmother raise her hand and say, "But guys, you don't understand. We also are going through our own stuff." They become very defensive.
Yeah.
But at least that conversation is
It's
happening.
happening. Yeah.
But I honestly, I don't. I've stopped expecting an I'm sorry. I'm at a place where the healing is for me, and I'm offering the people around me grace
Yeah.
by seeing them as flawed humans. And which is why I never write any perfect characters. My characters are all flawed.
Yeah.
Naledi herself is a flawed young girl, because there are no perfect people.
Yeah.
But it is just dealing with, just give people grace,
Yeah.
understanding that there are patterns, there are injuries that they haven't dealt with.
Yeah.
But I can only be responsible for my own healing. So going forward, how do I set up those boundaries? How am I going to raise my children? How am I going to pick a partner? How am I going to set up my household? Am I going to have these conversations? Am I going to love differently? Am I going to show up differently as a mom, as a woman, as a friend, as a partner? How do I show up? But yeah, the holding people accountable, you can, if you want to get it off your chest, I would suggest going to therapy or something.
Of course.
Because it's a hard thing to say. It's a hard request to ask our grandmothers at 80 to say I'm sorry.
Yeah.
They stuck in their ways. And people don't, you don't know what you don't know, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And honestly speaking, they were really trying to do the best that they could with the circumstances
Yeah.
that they were given. But yeah, you can try to hold people accountable, but don't expect apologies or change of behavior or any of those things. But you can control your environment by setting up boundaries.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think we're also a privileged generation, with all this knowledge that we have. We get to read Bantu Knots, we get to realize what we have been feeling is actually a collective pain. It's
Yeah.
not, we have terms for these things. We
Yeah.
have access to these information, So, yeah, I think therapy would be a first start.
Yeah, yeah. It's generational trauma.
Yeah.
Yeah. So give them grace. Our grandfathers couldn't. I mean, one of the characters in Fabrics of Love, the grandfather, is a man who lost his home. They've moved to Meadowlands, but he lost his home
Yeah.
during the forced removals, and then he lost his wife, who he really loved, but he doesn't know how to process this grief. And for a man that age who's grown up in a world where men have to be strong, we know better. The generations after know better.
Yeah.
But our grandfathers really don't. They don't know how to say they're in pain. So they just bleed on top of you. But yeah, we've got these terms.
Yeah.
But you also cannot expect an 80-year-old man to go to therapy.
No, we
like
can't.
it doesn't even
We
occur.
can't.
It doesn't occur to them.
We can't.
You know, the best you can do for them because you love them is give them that grace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, almost every year of my life, I have an epiphany of, oh, the reason why I do this a lot is because of that. I think back to my childhood. Oh, this happened at school,
Yeah.
and somehow it scarred me to the point where I'm actually doing this today. These are coping mechanisms that I have developed, And then with each year, when I have that kind of epiphany or realization, I come to a realization as well that, ooh, there's still a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
At the same time, because of we are a generation that have access to therapy, we have access to this information. I think the downside to this thing is that we want to be these perfect human beings, and I don't think that's achievable.
No.
And when it's not working on us, we want to project it on other people. Why can't you be
why can't you heal?
Exactly.
Be healed
now.
now.
Right now. So I think that grace has to start with us. As I said, I love my parents better right now when I actually realized these are human beings.
Yeah.
These were kids who were robbed of Ntwenzinyana. I love seeing them enjoy ice cream at this big age. I love them seeing it's cringe at times. Like I don't know if you have seen people their parents have social medias, like
yes, my father.
yeah, you know what
TikTok.
I mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you can't, it's embarrassing to you, but at the same time, you have to realize it's not about you. It's for them, They have to experience this joy that they have never experienced. They have to join those TikTok dances and whatnot. It's cringy, it's embarrassing, but I say they should go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah. What did I want to talk about as well? Okay, before I get to my next question, would you say Horna Lady in your book has daddy issues?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Naledi doesn't know. She doesn't even recognize a love when it shows up. It's so confusing. All these men, she's surrounded by none of these men in her world are in the home.
Yeah.
They're all outside. And it's a jarring experience for her when she hears these voices. There's a guy here, there's a guy there, there's a guy, and it's like, hey, even her father is like, hey, Naledi, and she doesn't know how to take it in, how to deal with it.
Yeah.
And it's automatically like, is there something wrong with me? A compliment to Naledi is something she questions when it comes from a man.
Yeah.
Also, she's coming from a home where, I mean, with Menora, she's scarred because she lost her husband in such a tragic way that she tries to keep Naledi from the streets as much as possible. She's so afraid of what's out there because of what happened to her. But keeping Naledi locked up, and even the things that are beautiful about Naledi, she doesn't tell her, this is beautiful. The opening scene in the book, Menora is sweeping her breasts without explaining what's happening. So Naledi automatically thinks there's something wrong with my body. She walks out into the world. These men, we see guys in the hood, catcalling, which is, it's toxic.
Yeah.
Catcalling is very toxic. But it's become our reality, and it's almost the norm. But she doesn't know how to take that. So she does really go into a shell, and even the way her mom introduces God, her grandmother introduces God into her space, she really does believe, I don't look right.
Yeah.
It creates a lot of issues around her body, a lot of insecurities around her body. And then so when a man is genuine, she doesn't recognize it. When a man is not so genuine, she can't recognize it. But also she falls for the first I love yous that she
Yeah.
gets, because who's told her that?
Sin soils your body, Wanaka. That is.
Yes. Look what's happening with your mother now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I loved that.
So even falling in love, she feels like it's a sin.
It's a sin.
The most natural emotion is love.
Yeah.
Falling in love is normal.
Yeah.
But she thinks there's something wrong with this. It can't. God must be against
Yeah.
this thing.
Also, the god of Menora is always like looking to
Yo.
punish. Like
Yo.
every night,
Yo.
Ngwanabatu has to hear how God is going to punish
Yo.
you. Even the prayers, you know.
Yeah.
I was actually thinking about dreams, as somebody who's like in the creative space, talking to people who are in the creative space, I'm just wondering, what happens when our dream fails and then we have to raise kids, how we're going to like impose those limitations on our kids, because there's a line that Menora said to Naledi, and then I think I even marked it. I was like, she's imposing her, limitations on Naledi, and now Naledi is going to limit herself. She's not going to go up further just because of what she's constantly hearing. Yeah. But also, Lebo, I love what you do with your characters, as you mentioned before, that you show how these people are not perfect people, because as like Lebo introduced this Clement character who spoke for Naledi like a second ago, and then in a second he's like switching and then doing something different, and then later you get to introduce to Clement again, telling Naledi, go get again, chill, she's coming, and not saying anything. That I was like, oh, I love what Lebo is doing, because she must have realized we are these imperfect beings. There's also a line where because the change of environment, I loved that part where Naledi's mother, why ke lebala leina la ga- Dineo, when Dineo moved away from home and she became this amazing mother who was like showing up for her daughter, making sure that, she fetches her daughter from school. There's a line where Naledi tells her grandmother, no, she fetches me every day. And then there's like that moment of silence, ow.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, she didn't expect that, because of to her, Dineo was like,
I think Dineo knows what it is to be a mess.
yeah.
So when she sees her daughter going through a very confusing age, and that's where the friction started with her and her own mother, she tries to show up in a way that she wished her mother had shown up in her own life.
Yeah.
I always say this. I was having a conversation with these young girls over the weekend, and they were talking about siblings, and the one was saying she can't really connect with her younger sister. I'm not understanding.
Yeah.
But I'm like, you need to be the big sister that you wish you had
Yeah.
to your younger sister, and that's what Dineo is doing. She also recognizes that, time is moving, and she can't see she doesn't quite understand who her daughter is, and there's a lot that she's missed. So that she doesn't want to miss anything. But trying to also create that safe space for Naledi is very important, because she didn't have that safe space.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's important for me for characters to evolve, because that's what we're doing as human beings. Like, what's the character arc? A person is never just the same, like never changing. Some of the characters, you see them go down. You see them what is happening in our townships, where people turn to drugs, where people, they don't have such a great ending. Your Cindy's, who there's teenage pregnancies where choices just go the other way, but there are good things that also happen in the township, which there's hope at the end of the day. So yeah, it's important that we see a person evolving.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not everybody's completely bad.
Yeah. I also love the fact that earlier you mentioned that when our parents become grandparents, they become better parents to their grandchildren.
Yeah.
There was a TikTok trend. I think older siblings were actually speaking about how they can't connect with their young siblings.
Mm.
And then when I read the comments, I can actually tell, Jorge, this is rooted from the fact that their parents had evolved by the time they had their second or third babies. Now they are better parents. Menora was a better grandmother than she could have been a mother.
Yeah.
Uh,
She softens.
yeah. And also,
She
I
softens.
loved how you gave us closure, which is one of the things that I love about this book. I was like,
Yeah.
ooh, I was going to be so mad at Lebo if one of these people died. Because when I was reading it, I was like,
Guys.
hopefully
No
nobody
one dies.
dies between the three. you know? So,
No, you know what? Also, um, black people's lives have been tough.
yeah,
We can't run away from that, but it's not all tragic.
I love that.
There has to be hope. There's well, we're on the up and up, guys.
Hmm.
We really are. We are. I mean, you were saying that we're getting better. We have information. As people, we're getting better. We're becoming more ambitious.
Yeah.
We're going after our dreams. We're doing this thing. Yes, there's sometimes resistance, and as our generation, there's resistance from the generation before us. But we're fighting. We're not docile. Even as women, we're not. And I do have a big problem with how women are always the way we see women on television. She's always so sweet,
Yeah.
so polite. Hey, hey, baba, oh, baba. She's always this, the hero of this, the protagonist is always the sweet girl,
Yeah.
angel. And we're not like that. I don't know women that are like that.
No.
Especially black women are cheeky.
No.
Even the sweetest of them knows how to throw a young footsack,
Yeah.
if you come at her sideways. And but that's important for me to show. I don't even want to use the term strong, but how we really are, like realistic characters. Our women, we are carrying our communities, our churches, our households.
Yeah.
But they fight back. But we are that generation that is breaking the status quo, man. We're doing things very differently.
Yeah.
We're going into careers that we didn't even know that we could go into. We're writing our own stories, and I think writers need to look at how they represent black women, especially the 20-year-old in a story. Oh gosh,
Yeah.
it's always the same 20-year-old in a story, and everybody's doing horrible things to her, and she just goes in a corner and cries. Which doesn't make sense. Well, I haven't seen those kind of girls in my life.
Yeah.
My friends,
No,
none of
no.
my friends are like that.
And I don't know them.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I don't know them. We live under a system that is patriarchal, but like our houses, our homes, like trust me when I tell you, Hore, ke bomme, baba busang, So my grandmother, very sweet somebody, mara khai beile so.
That's it.
I remember telling people's business, and I don't do that, but that's a very special episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember. I think one of my cousins wanted na batla go tsena ka tlase ga sofa, like hiding from my grandmother because
Yeah.
she's beautiful.
The matriarchy is strong
But
in black communities.
but very, very, very strong.
Yeah.
Lebo, what are some of the themes that you have like tried to explore with Bantu Knots? Because like since this interview, I took one that was like very, very personal to me, which is this generational trauma that we get to experience, that we are healing from. But what other themes like did you highlight in the book?
I mean, there's gender-based violence, which I think we can't really shy away from, which is a problem in our Black communities in South Africa right now. I do talk about image. It's called Bantu Knots because it really is about, not about hair specifically,
Yeah.
but about image and how we see ourselves and beauty ideals and what are the beauty standards. Naledi is not a a typical beauty. I see yellow bone and how people, I think we're getting better at it. I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure about Black men, but because when they get rich and successful, but that yellow bone fail.
Yeah.
Not so sure. Maybe we talk a good talk, but in action you don't see it. But she's a dark-skinned, thick, beautiful girl, but is having issues with her body, her image. So the beauty standards in the Black community, some of the themes. And yeah, friendships and dreams are very important. Going after your dreams, but also I do challenge patriarchy as well as culture and religion. Yeah.
There's so much of you in Naledi. That's what I'm picking up from this conversation. I'm just wondering, Hora, what did your family make of the book?
My grandmother has read it twice. She really liked it. She's read Fabrics of Love. But my grandmother reads, man. She's that girl. But I think it was a tough pill for them to take in from the conversations that come from it. More than, I don't know what they personally thought of Bantu Knots. But from the conversations, the talks, the discussions that I've been a part of, it's a tough pill for them to take in, but it's made them reflect. But my family's proud, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm realizing with time, I think I have an undiagnosed ADHD because like I had so many questions, and I keep on like, yeah, it's how it's
Yeah.
But I'm just thinking about the thing that you spoke about, the representation of women in books. And I'm recalling back to the United States of America, the time they had to choose between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump, So I was looking at their reception of how were they receiving her, A lot of people were talking about the fact that she's going to have a period. It's a very, very difficult time. I was like, these people speak as if they don't know women, So I want to say thank you for being a few of the writers because who represent women well.
Thank you.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
other women as well and men as well don't do the justice that you do with your books. I've seen people complaining about particular authors who are women saying, this is internal misogyny." I was like,
I hope,
but
somebody was
maybe they.
like, why are all the men in the book terrible? I'm like, are they? I don't know. I mean, Bololo sort of are not terrible. They just dudes, man, trying to figure themselves out. Is they not? And Linda Temoloi is not.
No,
He's a great father. A man who's married, who's stable, who's a good figure in the community. I don't. There are bad guys. I mean, even in the book, there are not so great women as well.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And also, I love the way you wrote about their bodies. Like, yeah, I have an imagination of,
You can see them.
I can see them.
Yeah.
They are very beautiful. I have a
Yeah.
crush, but I'm not gonna tell you how to get my.
Ooh.
Just gonna keep it as a secret. But I love it
Yeah.
how you spoke about that woman. The last question, Lebo, because I think we are actually running out of time.
Yeah.
Your faith,
Mm-hmm.
and Naledi's faith.
Mm-hmm.
She's a person that I can tell has a personal relationship with Christianity outside of Menora's Christianity, and then she goes to varsity, and then now she's facing these identity politics. You know, who's she first? Is she a black woman first, or is she a Christian first, or what is she?
A
You know, a
feminist.
feminist. You know what I mean? So I can. When I was reading that, obviously I can tell that this is Lebo's probably personal journey. You know, is
Yeah.
it?
Uh, could be. Could be. I mean, yeah, it could be. I mean, I'm still on that journey.
Yeah.
We all become feminists in varsity.
Yeah.
All of us are like, yeah, bring down the patriarchy and,
Yeah.
but I think now, the Christianity is coming, but I think there's a balance, man, and also understanding that feminism isn't a bashing of men. It's not a hatred for men. We love men. We just want equal opportunities. But also for me, it's like how do I conduct myself in a relationship?
Yeah.
I remember now with my boyfriend, the first time we went grocery shopping, Ganga trolley, and I went, and he's like, dude, like, so
Yeah.
what am I supposed to do? Can you just... So I'm trying to learn how to be soft again, how to allow somebody to open the door for me, because we don't need to be hard,
Yeah.
all the time. But I think it's also being raised around boys. My mom was not like, no, you're a girl. Yeah, I remember last year, I'm talking about my mom so much, but last year my brother was getting married. So after the fact, I mean, we have to clean, and there was the stack of chairs that we stacked with my aunt, and my mom came and to call me so that we can take the stack of chairs. Like, it's a bit ridiculous, guy. And I was like, nah, bruh. Nah,
I'm not
like,
doing
where
that.
your sons?
Yeah.
Like, call you. She's like, no, I get it. Osansani apaka koloi. I'm like, well, it's fine. But I'm not gonna do that. Like, I'm going back to my soft space.
Yeah.
My femininity. But yeah, and even with my values, I do believe in submission.
Yeah.
But it takes, I think I'm learning that women naturally submit
Yeah.
when it's the right person. We don't want to take the lead. I really don't. I want a head to lead me. And I know it sounds controversial, like, no, women must also be, but I don't actually. But I guess that's why I'm saying part of the Christian values are coming up stronger than my feminist views.
Yeah.
But I think they can both exist, and they can both exist. I mean, also, I think my partner is a feminist,
Yeah.
which makes it easier, and that's important to be with somebody who believes in the things that you believe in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but also I want to say that I feel like, movement of feminist. Okay, one, obviously nobody likes extremists. In every movement,
Yeah.
we are unhappy about extremists.
Yeah.
Whether it is in feminists or whether it is, there are men who are teaching men how to be better men, and
there's
then
misogyny.
Then there's misogyny.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So balance. But I think feminists, obviously, they are fighting for people to actually have the right to choose to
Yeah.
submit. So you
It's true,
submitting is a choice that you
Yeah.
actually made,
Yeah.
which is what we
Yeah.
want.
Because there's no woman wants to be told, okay, now
Yeah.
you must submit. No,
Yeah.
it must come naturally. Yeah, it is really, feminism is about choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. And I think I want a world where, because Lynn, I think I lean towards families, family structures and all of that. But at the same time, I want to fight for other people to exist, to do what they want to do. I have an ideal world that I'd love to see, but that will the benefit that in fela. So I want to have the right to actually be able to build my ideal world, but at the same time I want other people to be able to build what they consider their ideal world outside. You know,
It's a tough one.
no,
So, yeah.
as long as it's not going to harm me.
Yeah,
Two, as long as it's not harming children.
Yeah,
You know what
yeah.
adults are doing.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, but I want people to be healed.
Yeah.
Lebo, I want to say thank you so much. And I want to say congratulations on the Fabrics of Love. And I also wanted to ask you, Hore, how do you come up with
The title.
the titles? You know, but we got to have that
Yeah.
conversation when you come back for
Yeah.
this, because I'm going to be reading this. And next year, come March.
There's no ending here.
There's no
by the
end.
way. Yes. Because you said you were happy that one got rid. There's no ending. There will be a sequel, but so just keep that in mind.
Are we gonna call it the shoes of something? Because we started
Perhaps.
with the with the hair to the fabrics.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Perhaps.
I had a great time.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, Lebo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right, so like it's well, I tried to contain my excitement, but obviously I couldn't. Lebo was finally here. It's Lebo Mazibuko, mother of two, Bantu Knots and Fabrics of Love, and more is coming. Thank you so much. Yeah.